Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Dychronic, your host on this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be taking a look at his Xur, his location, his random rolls, and my recommendation for April 2nd, 2021. You can find the Xur in his regular location on Nessus. Just head over to the Watcher's Grave, and on top of this little tree here, or I guess this big-ass tree, you can find the Xur on this branch. This is a high overview if this is all you cared about. And may I just say, this is a pretty high-tier week. Maybe not the gun, but everything else, oh yeah. First off, for the weapon today, we have the Arbalest. Fires a slug that causes massive damage to elemental shields of enemy combatants. And the other one, Disruption Break, which works really well with this one, where breaking an enemy's shield with this weapon makes them more vulnerable to kinetic damage for a brief period of time. If you did not notice, it does kinetic damage. If you didn't know, if it's facing towards the top left, that means it does kinetic damage. On top of, like, there literally not being a damage symbol right next to the thing right here. So the idea here is this is the only special ammo linear fusion rifle in the game, and it's a kinetic, so it's also the only kinetic linear fusion rifle in the game, and generally it acts very similarly to a sniper, perhaps a bit more full ammo damage, a bit more aim assistance, but obviously you have that charge up time, so the DPS is a little bit back and forth. It's one of those weapons that's not really that great at anything. Obviously it does more damage to elemental shields, where kinetic weapons usually don't do that, but so do energy weapons. The main advantage kinetic usually offers is more damage overall to non-shielded targets, and this one doesn't really do more than a lot of other special weapons. Although I do have to say, I really like the ornament because it makes it look like one of those fat fallen weapons. Moving on to the Hunter Exotic today, we have the Orpheus Rig, an exotic that came out with the base, oh wow, that really does suck. I don't have the newer one. A base game exotic that has been amazing since the base game and is still amazing. If you've never heard of it, it provides ability energy for each enemy tethered by deadfall anchors. That's going to be the way of the Trapper, and that also includes super energy as well as the rest of your ability. So basically you get super by hitting enemies with your super. And the other side of it, for way of the Pathfinder, Mobius Quiver has more shots, which is good to have if you prefer that one as well, but most of the time people are using more invisibility based stuff like Graviton Forfeit, 6 Coyote, or maybe even that new chest piece. The main use of this is to get your super back from using your super, which is technically maxed out at 50% of your super, because this used to be able to get you your entire super if you tethered enough enemy. I personally think they should make it a bit more like Ursa Furiosa, allowing you to get diminishing returns, maybe up to around 75%, but even then, it's still an incredible exotic, and I would highly recommend all the way up to Grandmaster Nightfall. As far as the roll goes, not an incredible roll on this. You'd like to see a lot of intellect, a lot of recovery, and mobility. It's not bad stats in any one of them, and 61 is also decent. It's just not a spiky distribution you'd like to see. However, obviously, you could compensate this exotic with a lot of other armor pieces. So overall, I would fully recommend. Up next for the Titan exotic today, we have the Lion Rampant, which first of all, I gotta say, has a newer ornament that came out, when did this come out? It came out last season, and I think it looks pretty good. But more than that, this is definitely a top 10, probably top 5 Titan exotic. I forget exactly where I put it, but it's probably a top 5 Titan exotic for both PvE and PvP. If you don't know, it provides additional aerial maneuverability, which is for some reason a little hard for me to say, and enables accurate hipfire while you're in the air during lift. The main idea in PvP is to be able to defensive float for a much longer period of time, and if you're using something that's more hipfiery, like Dead Man's Tale or Last Word, you can use it in the air pretty decently well. And this may seem really simple, but being able to defensive float for a really long period of time above a doorway or up high along a wall oftentimes throws people off a lot, because they don't expect you to be up there for as long as you can be. And of course, the PvE side of things, this pretty much allows you to have infinite mid-air jumps if you use the catapult Lion Rampant with the sword combo. It's actually ridiculous how far you can go, because this thing just allows you to have so much jump energy. As far as the roll goes, pretty much the same as the previous one. It's very even across the board. I don't really like that, but again, you could compensate this with some other exotics. I would highly recommend, if you don't have one of these, to at least pick up one. Moving on to the Warlike Exotic today, we have the Aeon Soul. Now, if you played Destiny for quite some time, since Curse of Osiris, you've known that this exotic sucks. However, this season they made a big change. Instead of a static perk on this exotic, you get to choose between one of 3 different mods, and each one of these mods, a little bit less so vigor, but each one of these mods is incredibly powerful. This one here, Selective Insight, allows you to spawn special ammo or heavy ammo depending on who you finish. And you don't even need to have Aeon on your other teammates to spawn heavy ammo, which is really, really big. On top of the other ones allowing you to get ability regeneration, extra super energy, and a whole bunch of bonuses just by having the Aeon thing equipped, and sometimes without even needing to have Aeon equipped as well. I think that this is definitely going to be a top 10, maybe top 5 exotic for every single class, obviously one for each of the classes. It is super Grandmaster worthy, and it also gives you a lot of fun bonuses that you may just want to have on if you have teammates that have it. I don't think it's going to replace your Celestial Nighthawks, your Orpheus Rigs, your Ursa Furiosas, your Phoenix Protocols, but it is an alternative if you want to try something a little bit different. And as far as the role goes, pretty much the same problem as the other ones. It kind of middling total stats and very even distribution. I'm not the biggest fan of, but again, if you don't have one of these new versions with higher stats, you may want to pick one up if you've literally not used one since Curse of Osiris. Outside of that, make sure you're picking up your exotic cipher quests so you can get a lot more exotic ciphers. If you don't know, you can pick up one every single week for every one of your characters. You just do some Crucible, some Gambit, some, you know, strikes, whatever, and you can get some progress and get some free exotic ciphers. Also, make sure you're picking up your, oh my god, what? You can make sure you're picking up your exotic engrams because they're guaranteed to give you an exotic you've never received before, or one that you have received with a very high stat roll. I have received that one, but I did not expect to receive it literally after getting it the first time. I actually think this is worse. The total would be 58 versus 56, but like, I actually think this is worse. What happened here? Like, anybody want this? I can put this on eBay if anybody wants this one. Ah, never mind. I'll take the legendary shards. It's not worth much. Nobody uses this thing anyways, right? Anyways, that is gonna be the end of the video. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions, concerns. Also, make sure you come check out our live streams that are right after this video. I don't know why I say hour, but yeah, I have live streams. Destiny 2, open lobbies, doing raids, pinnacles, grandmasters, nightfalls, all that whatnot. Come join us. Of course, a big thank you to my patrons. Specifically, I want to thank Medi Buju, Mom Dad, Charles Williams, Joe Smith, Monte, Natalie Halpin, Steve Bachnuis, Justin Herrera, Raymond Showman, Unipanther, Cole Sherman, Casey Reagan. I always get tripped up in the Justin Herrera, Raymond Showman. It's so hard, but thank you for your support. I hope you guys have a great day. Herrera?